I was born and raised in the type of family setting when art and reading, literature, classical music were always part of our background, so it's natural. Having this creative instinct was very natural. But there is a very more important moment, that's 1997. While I was 16, 17 years old, there was civil war in Albania, and myself and my family, we stay within our house, never leaving the house for maybe 6 months. Besides the fact of being on literal war, and also this idea of just staying cooped in such a traumatic circumstances, that was actually the spark when I, for the first time, started painting. And I felt that being creative and allowing myself to pursue this creative instinct was the purest form of freedom. In turn, it allowed me to fully trust myself and my choices. And that was very beneficial when I moved to Brooklyn, all by myself. That was harder because the States is a whole different thing. And being by myself was harder in the sense that you're not anymore somebody who is this artist who are going to change the world through art. You come to New York City and you come to Brooklyn, and then you need to realize, okay, how do I actually make this work? How do I make a living? Versus just believing in the power and the truth of art. Having from, as I said prior, all this sense of I can trust myself and I can trust my choices, that was the most beneficial and the most worthy point that I brought back from my upbringing. I did not view any of the obstacles as struggles because I felt, okay, by facing a certain obstacle, then I moved in a certain direction. There are certain things that I realize about myself, and that is going to be reflected on my art. The true difficult point in time was when I decided to start my family. Once I became a mother, I had to shift my medium. I've always loved oil on canvas. I just love how tactile the experience is. But you need excellent ventilation. You can really stop the work mid-process, and then being a mother made all of that sort of impractical in my case. And I shifted from oil on canvas into mixed media collages. Motherhood and being an artist within this larger identity as a mother is something that I'm not only familiar but very interested in understanding deeper, in researching deeper, and hopefully making it easier for myself and other mother artists as well. The reason I started the gallery is because moving to Tampa from New York City, I felt that it's missing what I really want to see. And what I like to see is the kind of art and the kind of artist that you would easily pop into a New York gallery and have the opportunity to look at that kind of work. While there is a very vibrant local art world here in Tampa, I also feel that what is missing is bringing more national and internationally important artists in the area. And this helps not only future collectors, not only the city of Tampa per se, by becoming a sort of metropolis able to accommodate such cultural venues, but also help the actual local artists and the arts in the area. And also the reason why I started the gallery is also to add one more space when women artists in particular always have an open door to come and knock. When it's me and my artwork is truly about what deeply resonates with myself. And of course, being an artist, you're first and foremost always a human being, and you have certain standards and a certain way of understanding the world as a human being first. And it's impossible not to translate that way of looking at the world into your art. But I would say while I'm creating, everything else sort of fades away. It's this instinct to create, it's what brings everybody together. And it's exactly this sharing into fellow feeling. Meaning, I might like something completely different from you, and we belong to different cultures and different ways of looking at life. But the fact that we both have this need to be creative and to express something that is logged so deep inside of us. And it's through art that we both are able to do that. That's the big connector. And this is the reason why art has been existing from the beginning of time. The artist is the person who took the time and who gave their own full self to that creative act. And that is something that has been along as long as humans has been around. And I'm not the kind of artist who would thought of, okay, I want people to come and gather on my art. I truly, while I'm doing the artwork, I'm working on the pieces, it's all about myself expressing basically to myself everything that I can maybe not vocalize perfectly well. But when people respond, that's a great feeling. But because the art that I make feels, at least for right now, very deeply personal to me, while I make it, the last thing in my mind is who else is going to respond to it. Although that is definitely a function of art, but that's post-creation, when it's off my hands. It sort of feels that by being able to see this interconnectivity of the world, that's really the whole point that I want to achieve through making art and exhibiting art. Because especially as artists, we're so much in our heads, in our minds, in our feelings, that the whole point of going outside of ourselves with our artworks or books or music or whatnot is to basically find common ground.